time to talk about Pixar characters with Cody O'Toole? Hey everyone, welcome to the top 10 list. Welcome to my top 10 favorite Pixar characters. Yes, Incredibles 2 just came out, so now it's time to talk about some Pixar. And it's time to do some collabs while talking about Pixar. And I want to talk about some Pixar characters. And I needed someone's help to talk about Pixar characters. Yes, Mr. O'Toole himself. No, not the other one, not Ryan O'Toole. His brother, Cody O'Toole, the co-commissioner of Rotten or Fresh. Introduce yourself, Mr. Cody O'Toole.
Jay, it just seems like you can't get enough O'Tooles on your channel. But I am here this time. What's going on, guys? Cody O'Toole here. I'm really excited to do this list. Pixar's my thing. They're my favorite film company. And when Jay asked me to be a part of this top 10 Pixar characters, it was really, really hard. I had to do a lot of digging, a lot of thinking, a lot of switching of my list. I'm sure you did the same, Jay. But I've come up with a clear list, and I'm excited to talk Pixar, man.
Yeah, I asked Chris Stuckman, Zach Pope, Neezy Channel, Sean Chandler. They all said no, so Cody said yes. Okay. Yes. Yeah, but yeah, I'm excited to do top 10 Pixar characters. So how it's gonna work is Cody is the guest, so he'll go first. He'll start off, he'll do his honorable mentions, then I'll do my honorable mentions. He'll go 10, then 10, 9, 9, 9. You know the shtick. Start off, Mr. O'Toole, Cody O'Toole.
Alright, and I got a lot of honorable mentions, guys. I had to mention these guys at least in my honorable mentions, and I have 9 of them here, and they are Frozone from The Incredibles and Incredibles 2. That's my favorite character in that whole universe. Flick from A Bug's Life, Marlin from Finding Nemo and Dory, Arlo from The Good Dinosaur. I find him to be an underrated character. I know a lot of people might call me crazy. I like Arlo. Wally from WALL-E, Mike from Monsters, Inc. and University, Hector from Coco, Crush from Finding Nemo, and the shocker that's going to shock the world, Buzz Lightyear from Toy Story 1, 2, and 3 are my honorable mentions. Didn't make the top 10.
Apparently Cody doesn't want to go to infinity and beyond, apparently. Not now. Alright, let's get to my honorable mentions. Honorable mentions. Alright, I wrecked all the paper, I can't even see now. Anyways, my honorable mentions. My honorable mentions are Russell from Up, Miguel from Coco, Doug from Up, Kevin from Up, Elastigirl from The Incredibles, Merida from Brave, Sadness and Joy from Inside Out, and Lotso Hugging Bear from Toy Story 3. Just gonna make the top 10 list, but let's get to the top 10. Mr. Cody O'Toole.
Alright, let the games begin. So coming in at my number 10 is a character from a movie. This is sort of just like a personal pick. I wouldn't probably see this on a lot of top 10 lists when it comes to Pixar characters, but for me, he makes number 10, and that is Gil from Finding Nemo. You know, when we're first introduced to the character of Gil, obviously voiced by William Dafoe, who first does a great job, he is just this unsettling character. You know, Nemo first meets him, he's very scared of him, very skeptical of him, but once you get to know Gil, you know what he wants. He wants to get back out into that ocean, and he trusts Nemo, and he wants him to do these tasks for him, and he sort of just becomes this like mentor for him. And I just really loved the character. I thought it was a great addition to the movie, especially with everything else that was going on. Just the whole side characters are great, but if I had to pick one standout side character from that whole movie, Gil is definitely one of those, and I just really love the character, and he does a great job in the movie.
Yeah, I love all of the fish tank crew from Finding Nemo. All of them are great. Yes, shark bait. But yes, great choice. Cody number 10 for me is Hector from Coco. Yes, it was on your honorable mentions. He's my favorite character from Coco, even though Miguel's the central focus. I love Hector. He's a cool trickster. I love a trickster. That's why I love Loki so much, but he's a guy who's desperate to go to the land of the living so he can see his loved ones and stuff. He wants his picture. He doesn't want to be forgotten. And then you find out, twist spoilers, that he's related to Miguel. He's the father of Coco. Oh my god, how do you not know? But yes, I really enjoy Hector. He's a great singer. He's really funny. Again, you feel so much sympathy for Hector. You want him to succeed. You want him to be remembered. You want Coco to remember Hector and stuff. He's the character that I, like, followed through the film. You know, Miguel's the main character. I was rooting for Hector the whole time, and I personally love Hector, and yeah, one of my favorite Pixar characters, and my favorite from Coco.
Yeah, I cannot disagree with that pick, man. That's a great choice, great character from a great, great movie. Let's move on to my number 9 now, and continuing on with the Finding Nemo and Dory franchise. And that's going to go to Dory, coming in at number 9 for me. It might be pretty low on a lot of people's lists for them. It might be a light hour for people on people's lists. But for me personally, Dory's a fantastic character. Let's talk about Ellen DeGeneres, of course. Is Dory. I mean, she's if I could meet any celebrity, it would be Ellen DeGeneres. And, you know, just the quote she says in the movie, just keep swimming. P. Sherman 42, Wallaby Way, Sydney, what's the matter, Mr. Grumpy Gills? Just so many quotable lines that Ellen gives. And is just a great character in general. I mean, when you first meet her, the short-term memory loss comes into an effect. And, of course, Marlin's just trying to find Nemo. And she just brings a lot of comedic relief. But at the same time, Dory has heart. And she eventually, you know, learns to find ways to help out the whole story. Of course, when she finds the one that finds Nemo and brings him to Marlin. So I just love the character. And then, of course, in Finding Dory, we expand more on the character. And we really find out that her short-term memory loss actually becomes an advantage. And it helps her throughout that movie with finding her parents. So I love Dory as a character. Just a great, great character.
Oh, yes. And she also speaks whale. So... she does. She speaks whale. Yeah, you'll see Dory on my list. Yes, a little later. All right, coming number 9 is Remy from Ratatouille. Remy, I love Remy. Best character. Oh no, sorry, he is now my favorite character in Ratatouille. Who's it gonna be? Yeah, I'm in the movie actually. I'm the best character. Anyways, Remy. The reason I love Remy so much is passion. I love his passion for cooking, because I have that same passion for film and stuff. He just loves cooking. Cooking and food is like his life, and the way he explains it and stuff, it's just, I love that passion. I just love that drive he has to be a chef. And just like Gusteau says, anyone can cook. Even a small, innocent little mouse like Remy can cook. And he's a genius. Like, I want Remy to exist because I want him to make me up some ratatouille, whatever. I just want him to make me some food because that rat knows how to freaking cook. And yeah, I just love him. I love his passion and his drive for cooking. I love that spirit. I love that drive he has. And I love his relationship with Linguini. Linguini's a bit of a doofus and stuff, but they do have a very adorable friendship and stuff. And I love that he doesn't want to be just a simple rat who, like, steals food and everything. He wants to be something. He wants to be known for something. And it's to be a chef. He is a cook. Anyone could cook. And yeah, I just love Remy. He's a great character. Patton Oswalt did the voice, and perfect casting. And yeah, I love Remy. One of my favorites.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Remy's a little bit higher on my list for obvious reasons. We'll talk about that a little later on, but great pick. Great pick for sure. Alright, so now coming in at my number 8, we got to talk about some villains, right? Of course, there's some pretty good villains here in the Pixar world. I got Lotso Hugging Bear coming in at number 8. Now, I was relatively, actually pretty late to the party when watching Toy Story 3. I think I actually watched it for the first time, maybe like a few months ago. I know. I'm crazy. I know. Gasps all around. But when you look at the character of Lotso, when you first meet him, he's this strawberry-smelling teddy bear who's sweet, kind, and welcoming to all the characters we love. Just welcoming to Sunnyside Daycare. But then shit hits the fan. Like, it's just, you find out why he is the way he is with his backstory. And of course, he was left, and then he tried to go back, and he was just replaced. And that was pretty dark for Pixar to do. I mean, Toy Story 3 in general is one of the more darker and more... I think it took a lot of risks in that movie. But when you look at Lotso, especially what he did, he's the one that put all of the toys in danger in the incinerator. He was like, all right, hey, I'm gonna help you guys out. Nope, see you later. I was like, wow, this dude does not care about anybody. It's about himself. I mean, I love Lotso. He's just, I mean, you love him and you hate him. But at the same time, it's just, you look at that character and you're just like, wow, this was a part of a movie that was so dark and just took a lot of risks. And I think a lot of that is because of Lotso and a great, great villain he was. And Ned Beatty did a great job too.
Great. Yeah, that's why he was in my honorable mentions. Yeah, he's a great villain. One of my favorite villains in the Pixar films. All right, we're at 8, right? 8? 8, not 18. Okay. Number 8. Number 8 for me is Mr. Incredible from The Incredibles and Incredibles 2. Mostly because Incredibles 2 as well, because Incredibles, I really enjoyed him. He is the central focus of the first Incredibles. Mr. Bob Parr and stuff. He's basically this superhero, basically, but then superheroes are like illegal now, and he has to have an office job and everything. He basically just wants to be a hero again, and the first one's mostly his focus, and then the second one is Elastigirl's focus as a hero, and he has to be a parent, so that's why I like the balance. First one is him wanting to be a hero, and the second one is him being a stay-at-home dad and learning how to be a great father and stuff. So he's not only a great superhero, but he's also a very great father and stuff, and I just love him. Craig T. Nelson is just so great, and at first, in the first Incredibles, I didn't know if I was gonna like Mr. Incredible, especially near the beginning, like, oh, he just only cares about being a hero. He seems a bit selfish. But as the film went going, I showed that he is a caring father, and now, especially with Incredibles 2, he's a really caring father, and it just made me love the character all the more. He wouldn't have made this top 10 list if it wasn't for Incredibles 2 and everything, and yeah, I just love Mr. Incredible. I was gonna put Dash, but since Dash is not really big in Incredibles 2, he has no character arc in that film, he went off my top 10 list, so Mr. Incredible made the top 10 list, so Mr. Incredible.
No, it's a good pick. It's a good pick, and I actually love what they did in Incredibles 2, switching protagonists, sort of putting Elastigirl as the front, and then Mr. Incredible did a great. He was really funny in Incredibles 2. That's a good pick. Didn't make my top 10 list, but hey, I can't go wrong with that pick. Alrighty, guys. So coming in at number 7 is a character we've already talked about, and Jay has brought him up. I have Remy coming in at number 7 from Ratatouille, and you basically said everything I wanted to, Jay. But just to add a little story to this, so of course you mentioned that the Gusto's message that anyone can cook, and it sort of, when I first saw this movie, it just sort of made me think about my life in general, where I wanted to pick up a trombone and I was hesitant about it, like picking up an instrument for the first time. But you know, no matter what, like anybody can do it, right? You can try something and you can go for it. If you have a passion for something, go for it. And I could relate to that in life, and that's what Remy did. You mentioned it, cooking. He's a rat, and who would put cooking and a rat together? But this movie does that. You know, it has messages behind it where, you know, anybody can do what they set their heart out to, and I just love Remy for that reason alone. Patton Oswalt, a great, great voice for that character. I love the relationship, like you mentioned, with Linguini. He just is a very, very charming, and you can relate to Remy. You definitely can, and you can just see that he's an outsider from his own pack, but that's not going to stop him to going out and doing what he loves, and that's to cook. Simple as that. Remy, very, very great character.
You know, Cody, this is supposed to be a funny show, and now you're bringing in all the feels and stuff. Very nice, though. Yeah, it was very, very touching, Cody. Very touching. Very good. Very good. Very good. Give that fucker an Oscar. Going to number 7 for me is Buzz Lightyear for Toy Story, the whole trilogy, yes. Because apparently Cody doesn't like Buzz Lightyear. No, I'm just kidding. Buzz Lightyear, the reason I like him is because each film he has something different about him. The first Toy Story, he thinks he's the real Buzz Lightyear. That's what builds on comedy. Like, denial is some of the funniest things in comedy. Just someone who thinks they're something that they're not, and it's hilarious. Like, watching Tim Allen, who does an amazing job, just watching this toy thinking he's a real space ranger, thinks his plastic ship is a real ship. Where's that bonding strip? He needs more tape. He is just so funny. That's why I love the first Toy Story. It's such a funny film. The rivalry between him and Woody, but then they grow to respect each other. They have to work together to get back to Andy in the first Toy Story. I love Buzz Lightyear. And even his arc, he finds out that he is just an action figure, and it's very sad. Like when he tries to fly out the window and stuff, and then he breaks his arm. It's just, you feel bad for him. But then in Toy Story 2, he's like the hero, because now Woody's in danger, and he has to get the whole crew to rescue Woody and stuff, and then Woody has doubts of ever going back to Andy, and it's up to Buzz Lightyear to convince Woody that that's our kid. He loves us, and we have to go back to him. I didn't believe in that, but you made me believe that this kid loved me, and now I have to make you believe, and that's what he does. Because what Woody did for him in the first one, he does for him in the second one, which makes me love Buzz Lightyear all the more. And then the third one, again, he's just a loyal friend, and we get to see Spanish Buzz. That is just the greatest thing ever. Just him doing the tango and stuff, absolutely hilarious. But I just love Buzz Lightyear. To Infinity and Beyond, he's not my favorite Toy Story character, but he is one of them. I love Buzz. Just, again, to Infinity and Beyond.
For the record, I love Buzz Lightyear. Just let me put that out there. He's my number 11. Like, he's right there. But I know, I know, I'm gonna get some hate in your comment section, Jay. I'm very, very sorry, but you can't go wrong. Yeah, but you can't go wrong with Buzz Lightyear, and I may have his counterpart somewhere a little bit on my list, a little bit higher, but we'll see. All right, let's go to our number. Let's go to our number 6 now. We're getting close to that top 5, but just missing out on the top 5 at number 6 is a character that, whenever I just think about him, I just think of a great character arc. Just a great, great character arc this character goes through. It's Sully from Monsters, Inc. He makes my number 6. Just... Hey, we got the same number 6. That's great to hear. But just talking about Sully for a second, the beginning of the movie, he's a scarer in Monsters, Inc. He's this intimidating, just goes in there and just gives it his all, and he's the top scarer at Monsters Incorporated. And of course, people like Randall are jealous of him, Mike is very supportive of him, and you just are rooting for Sully right away. He's just a very, very funny character, a very just, he initially just takes the presence of the film. And then Boo comes along. And we know how much Boo changes Sully for the better. And just where he learns just about, like, wow, is this really... You just can see the impact Boo has on the character. And just, of course, we can talk about the ending. Very emotional, very sad. Sully just basically becomes a role model for Boo. And he's there for her, he cares for her. She runs away from him a bunch of times. Randall's trying to take her, and you can just see Sully's not going to give up. He wants to get Boo back into her door, make her safe. The ending is very emotional and sad, and, you know, the ending of the movie, too, when he opens the door and he sees Boo. It's just, Sully's a very heartwarming character who goes through just such a tremendous arc in Monsters, Inc. And in Monsters University, while I'm not a huge fan of that movie, it was nice to go back and sort of see Sully in his roots. You know, he was just like this jockey guy who was just like all about himself, but he learns from Mike, and he learns that, you know what, maybe it's okay to, you know, have a friend, and, you know, it's okay to just, you know, calm things down a little bit. But Sully's a great character.
Yes, he's my number 6 too. Spoilers, he's my number 6 too. Sully, I'll just echo what Cody said. Sully is a very good character. I love the design of Sully too. Just like, he's such a cool designed character, and he's the scariest monster in Monsters, Inc. Like, he's on the Lear chart boards of the most scares and stuff. And you never would think the scariest monster in Monsters, Inc. has the most heart. It is the most enjoyable, most likable character in the film and stuff. And again, his relationship with Boo, Monsters, Inc. is the heart and soul of that film. Even his friendship with Mike is really good and really enjoyable. And yeah, I just love it. It's John Goodman. You can't get a better voice actor. Like, I love John Goodman. And Monsters University, I can't stand that film. I'm right with you on that one. I can't stand that movie. He's like this silver lining of that film. Like, he's like this jerky jock guy who has an arc, and it's because of Mike's friendship, makes him a better character. He's like the only thing I like about that stupid movie. But yeah, Sully, again, just what Cody said, great character, number 6.
Sure, he's our number 6. We're getting into our top 5 now. Now, this was really hard. I did a lot of swapping here, a lot of swapping. But who ended up in my top 5 at number 5 is a character I love near and dear to my heart. That is Jessie from Toy Story 2 and 3. I love the Toy Story films. I mean, to be honest with y'all, I watched Toy Story 2 more than the other ones growing up as a kid. So Jessie really does have a special place in my heart. You meet this character, and she's just full of energy, she's full of life, and she just takes the room. Like, you know, everyone's just looking at Jessie, and just like, she's just a fun character. But then you really dive deep into the character, and I'm sure everyone knows about that beautiful montage of how Jessie became who she is, and how, you know, she was left. And that was just very heartbreaking, very, very sad and emotional, but I think it builds into what Jessie is. She's fun. She's energetic. She has a soft side. She also has a love for Buzz in Toy Story 3, which is really cool. And I'm wondering if they're going to expand on that in Toy Story 4. But just looking at that moment, that whole montage in Toy Story 2 is where I fell in love with Jessie. And as we continue on in Toy Story 3, she plays a great supporting role. I don't think the Toy Story movies would be as good as they are, especially 3 without Jessie and 2 without Jessie. I think she really made those films work, and she's just a great, fantastic character.
Jessie didn't make my list, but I do agree she is a great character. Joan Cusack did a great job. Yeah. All right, good pick. Number 5. Number 5 is a very awesome, cool, cute little robot named Wally. Wally. Yes. I know Cody. I think he thinks Wally's a tad overrated, which The most. Get out of here. It's not. It's a great movie. Everyone else says about Everyone says about Wall-E, the first 30 minutes is a masterpiece, and then either some people say the rest is shit or the rest is just okay. The rest, I think, is just a good movie. But yeah, the first 30 minutes with Wall-E on Earth, with all the garbage with Eve, is the best part of the film. No dialogue. If the whole film was like that, it would probably be one of the best Pixar films. But that's why I love Wall-E so much, because he's like the only one there on Earth, and he's just surviving, trying to make it all happen and everything. And his relationship with Eve is just so great. I think it's the most cutest thing ever, and the journey Wall-E goes on, and I just love him. He's an intelligent character, he's a likable character, he's a strong character, and yeah, definitely up there in my top 10 favorite movie robots. Like, I have a thing for robots. Robots are the fucking shit for me. He's no Terminator, but he's still a kick-ass robot, definitely on my top 5.
I mean, while I do think Wall-E the movie is overrated, Wall-E for a reason made my honorable mentions. I love the character. Absolutely, for sure. I can't deny that. And I have no problem with him being in your top 5, Jay, for sure. That's totally fine. Wall-E as a character is great, and you fall in love with him instantly. We're going to move on to our number 4 now. And this character is a part of one of my favorite Pixar films, for sure. And whenever I think about this movie, which I do a lot, because it's just one of those movies that makes you think, this character stands out to me. That is Joy from Inside Out. I don't think this movie would work without this character of Joy being as strong as she is. Initially and right away, you tell that she's a leader. She's a leader of all these emotions. She does a great job leading. She's also very, very funny, and she's just very likable. And Joy's her name for a reason. She's always happy and energetic. But as the movie goes on, and as she goes away from the big tower, and then when the story actually picks up, she learns a lot of things. She definitely learns a lot of things. She learns about sadness and the importance of sadness in certain situations. We get introduced to Bing Bong, and their relationship is great. She learns a very important message down deep into where, everything is all forgotten. But I think what comes down to it is that she is just in love with Riley. She wants to be there for Riley. She knows that she needs to be there for Riley in order for Riley to, have a very happy life. And we see Riley sort of being affected by that when Joy's away. So I think that right there shows how impactful Joy is to the movie. I just love the character. And whenever I think about this movie, I think of Joy, because she is the total standout to this movie for me.
She's a great character. She is so good. Like, again, apoliar. Again, perfect casting. The casting they do for these movies are so good. And yeah, number 4, Cody had it on his list already. It's Dory from Finding Nemo / Finding Dory. I love Dory. What do? We swim. Just keep swimming. She's great in Finding Nemo. She was like my favorite character in Finding Nemo. She's just this like girl fish that has short-term memory loss, and she wants to help Marlin, but then she keeps forgetting she needs to help Marlin and stuff. You gotta find your son Chico? No, Nemo. Okay. Fabio? She's like, what's his name? It's so great, and she's just so likable, and she just wants to be friends with everybody. Just like, I wish I had a friend like Dory. She's just so awesome and just such a caring character, and she actually genuinely cares about Marlin and wants to help him fight his son. And she does find his son at the ending. Yes! Dory to the rescue. She's the Superman of this franchise. And then Finding Dory it's about her. It's her story. Instantly in the beginning, I had a connection with Dory all over again, showing her as a kid. She lost her parents. You're like, oh my god, where are her parents? Did they abandon her? Is she just away from them? Did she get separated? What happened to her parents? I want her to find her parents so bad. And just her going on this adventure and stuff, goes to this aquarium with all these fishes and stuff, and when she finds her parents, it's so touching and stuff. And all the friends she meets, like Hank and stuff, I love Dory. She's just such a charismatic character. You just genuinely care about her. She's just so genuinely likable. And I absolutely love Dory. And yeah, she's awesome. And Ellen DeGeneres is so good. And yeah, one of my favorites.
Dory, I can't go wrong with that placing for Dory. I love Dory very much, and she made the top 10 for me, but I actually really love seeing her that high. Just a great character, and of course Ellen definitely contributes to that. Top 3, guys. Top 3. This is just like the top of the top. Coming in at number 3 for me is a character from my favorite Pixar film. And I think Jay knows where I'm going with this, who I think is, yeah, Lightning McQueen from Cars 2. It is not Lightning McQueen, it is Miguel from Coco. Yes, Miguel makes it into my top 3. And I think this is the standout. And I'm going to go into my personal life a little bit more, Jay, so get ready for the tissues. But I'm a musician, guys, and this movie impacted me so much to where it's like I watch it 5 or 6 times and I get emotional and I cry every single time at the ending. Like, music has been a part of my life now for 11 years, and this movie is all about music and the, you know, just the beautiful animation and just, you know, Miguel having a dream to play the guitar and having music in his life, and that's all he wants. He needs the blessing from his family in order to play music, and he's not going to stop until he makes that happen. And of course, he goes along this beautiful journey. You go more in depth with the character of Miguel as he's introduced to all of his different family members, and then of course the relationship with Hector and Miguel is just so entertaining and heartwarming, and that moment when they find out that they're related, like, oh, it's just so perfect. I just love the character of Miguel. He's a young boy, but man, he has such an impact on this movie for sure. He's independent, he's, you know, willing to do whatever it takes, and he's also very talented too. Very talented musician. You can see that he's learned from Ernesto de la Cruz. He's the villain, spoiler. But no, this movie just holds a special place in my heart, and it might be just like a personal pick just because I love this movie so much, but Miguel is just a complete standout for me in this movie, and he's at my number 3.
Hitting with the feels there, Cody. My God. I wish your brother was more emotional. Yeah, okay. Number 3 for me. Number 3 is my favorite character from my favorite Pixar film. That's Mr. Carl Fredricksen from Up. I love this character. From the first, minute I gave a shit about this character, showing him as a kid, he has a passion, he wants to fly up in the sky, then he meets this young girl, Ellie and stuff, and they just have this really awesome friendship, and then the montage, the Carl and Ellie montage, their whole life together. It is just beautiful. I instantly had a connection with this character, and I felt so much sympathy for him and everything, and that's, again, one of the best scenes in any Pixar film, that entire montage scene of their life together. He lost his wife, for Christ's sakes. Oh, all they wanted to do was travel, and they couldn't. And then, him as an old man, you understand why he's a bitter old man. He's completely alone. He has nobody. And basically, he has one goal in life. Is, get out of there. Go on an adventure where he wanted to bring Ellie in the first place. But then he goes on this adventure with Russell, this kid who just wants another badge and stuff, where he meets all these weird people, this talking dog named Doug, Squirrel. And then he meets Kevin, and he meets his idol, and honestly, it's a true thing. Be careful what you wish for. You don't always want to meet your idols because they can end up being sociopathic. And yeah, I love Carl Fredricksen. I think he is just such a great character. He's he's kind of a grumpy old man, but he kind of reminds me of my grandfather. He's a grumpy old man. I love that bastard, and I love this bastard, and he's easily one of my favorite Pixar characters ever.
Now, this character is from the movies that I grew up with. Jay, I know you've grown up with these movies, and a lot of people might think this is my number 1, but he's not my number 1. It's Woody from Toy Story 1, 2, and 3. For me, growing up, I was more of a Woody guy. I love Buzz Lightyear. Do not get me wrong. I love the character, but I was more of a Woody guy. I mean, I had both little, toys growing up. I had both of them in my hand, but I was always, if I had both, I would pick, kind of like Andy, I would pick up Woody. I think you see his leadership, you see his heart, you see just everything. He is a leader. He is a guy that, all of these toys go to and that they trust. And you can see different sides of Woody throughout the whole Toy Story franchise. You see jealousy when Buzz Lightyear comes in. And, you see how much that affects Woody. In Toy Story 2, he becomes the one that is taken away, and you see him make very tough decisions, like, do I want to leave Andy and go into a museum? It's just the character arc we see with Woody throughout these whole entire films is nothing but spectacular. It's just, he is such a, relatable character, too. You just see different sides of Woody. And Woody is just, I think when you think of Pixar, one of the first characters you think of is Woody. Just because, Toy Story started it all, and he was the lead in that movie, and it's just where you see the movies are now, and the relationship he has with Andy, and you see that Andy really loves Woody because he didn't want to give him away and put him up, and, it's just, I love Woody so much. He's not my number one, but Woody is my favorite character in the Toy Story franchise.
Very understandable, very understandable. I have my cat here right now, so she wants to be in the video. But anyways, yeah, Woody. Yeah, you'll see him, but yeah, not yet. But number two. Number two is a very odd choice, because this is not even a main character in the film. Because I mentioned Remy as Ratatouille, like he's not my favorite character. My number two is Anton Ego from Ratatouille. I'm gonna explain why. This is a very odd choice. One thing is design. I love the design of Anton Ego and stuff, and I love the portrayal of a critic. Me as a critic myself, can relate to Anton Ego, why he has to be so bitter sometimes, because he has a reputation as a critic, a food critic. He has to be kind of mean and spirited and stuff because, again, he has, a reputation, and people want to go to the best restaurants and stuff, and he doesn't want to lead them the wrong way and stuff, and he is the reason why Gusto lost the star and everything, and he's portrayed as the bad guy, and I don't think he is a bad guy. Especially near the ending, he's definitely not the bad guy. And, yeah, the ending it pushed him to be, like, one of my favorite characters, is when Remy gives him the Ratatouille. In just a 20-second flashback, I knew everything about this character because it's a peasant dish, Ratatouille, and just one bite of the Ratatouille, he flashes back to his childhood, and he was very poor. He grew up in a very poor home, and he had a sick mother, and all she made him was Ratatouille. And when he took a bite of the Ratatouille, he remembered back to the good old days, and when he was with his mother, a struggling mother, and that's all she could make for him. And it's the most beautiful scene in the film and everything. And his speech at the end, when he writes the review, and he talks about being a critic and stuff, and how, because at first he didn't believe that everyone could cook, because that's what a critic believes. We believe that, oh, now filmmakers are all good filmmakers, like, that director can't be a good director, he sucks and stuff, but when he bites that dish and he sees that this mouse can cook, he believes that anyone can cook. And I believe that too. Like, I do this when I watch movies. Anyone can make a good movie and stuff. And I just look to Anton Ego. I'm like, he's the voice of inspiration for critics and stuff. So, me as a critic, I relate so much to Anton Ego. And I just love his arc in the film. And I love how he ends the film. And his speech at the end of the movie, when he talks about being a critic and about how anyone can cook, is probably one of my favorite scenes in Pixar films. It's so good. And yeah, one of my favorite characters. It's a weird choice, but I love him.
You actually made me like Anton Ego more than I already did, just from what you said there. No, he's a fantastic character, for sure. And, I'm not mad that he's your number two. Ratatouille is one of my personal favorite Pixar films. And just, yeah, that's a very, very, it's a different pick, but I like it. I really like that pick. We're here. We're at our number ones. And, it's Mater, guys. Come on. No, it's not Mater. Coming in at number one. Now, this is going to be a surprising pick for Ryan. It's going to be a surprising pick for maybe Jay. And it's going to be it might be a shocker to a lot of people. But, for me, this is just the perfect character. Perfect character. Carl Fredricksen from Up is my number one Pixar character. And I will tell you why. For me, this is Pixar's most risky character they've ever put out. It's a grumpy old man. Who can relate to that, right? Like kids. Kids watch Pixar movies, and people our age watch Pixar, and adults. But how many, maybe there are some people, but how many old people, like really, really old people, watch Pixar films? Like, so for that reason alone, I feel like this was a very, very risky character for Pixar to do. However, Pixar is the film company that can make it happen. And boy, did they make it happen. That first 10 minutes you talked about it. Instantly, you love the character of Carl and Ellie. You love them both. just for what they are. They're so different from one another. Carl is shy. Ellie not so much, and you just see everything that they go through in that short little montage. No words are needed for that because you know what they're going through. And of course, when she dies, you initially just right away fall in love with the character of Carl, and you just want to see him succeed. I think from there, he just becomes a beautiful arc, and there's a lot of things in this movie that, while they're not necessarily saying it, like he's carrying a weight on his shoulder, legit, he's carrying around a house throughout the whole entire movie. I feel like that depicts something. He loves the villain in this movie, who's not coming to my head right now, but he eventually turns into this evil dude. So it's like every single opportunity and things that remind him of Ellie, it affects him. And it's just like, man, you just want Carl to be happy. And I think the ending is beautiful, where Russell, he becomes Russell's sort of role model, and he gives him the badge. It's just a beautiful ending to a character. Up is not my personal favorite Pixar movie, but Carl Fredricksen is my personal favorite character just because of the risk they took with this character, and he is so lovable. He's just you think of Carl Fredricksen, and just, man, I can't say anything else positive about the character. I know this is Jay's favorite Pixar movie, but Carl Fredricksen's my number one.
I can't blame you. He's my number 3, so I cannot blame you for that. I love Carl Fredricksen. I'm glad he's your number 1. I think that's awesome. Kudos. Number 1 for me. Cody said it already just a few minutes ago. It's Woody from Toy Story Trilogy. He's my favorite. Yes, it's Woody the Cowboy. Right on, partner. Woody has so much layers to him. That's why I love Woody. And it's Tom Hanks. I'm a sucker for Tom Hanks. I fucking love Tom Hanks. And I love a layered character. And I love a lot of theories about characters, especially Woody. I love that Pixar wanted to make Woody a villain at first. And I'm like, I'm so glad they did not go through with that. He was going to be the villain. I'm like, no. Hell no. And you see the special features, and Tom Hanks even did the voice of him as a villain. I'm like, oh, no, that's awful. And, yeah, in the first Toy Story, he's the leader of the toys. He's Andy's favorite and stuff, and he's a super good leader. He wants, because Andy's moving, he doesn't want no toys left behind. Like, he's a true leader. He's a true likable character. However, then Buzz Lightyear comes, and it shows his roots. It shows his flaws, and that's the best thing about a character. Every character has flaws. And it shows that Woody has jealousy in him because Andy takes more favoritism to Buzz Lightyear, and he gets jealous. He's the favorite, and now he has this rivalry with Buzz and stuff, but again, Woody learns from it. He learns how to have this friendship with Buzz, that they both can share Andy and stuff. It doesn't matter who the favorite is as long as you're being played with, and I love that arc Woody has with Buzz in the first Toy Story, even in the second one, because he has doubts about being with Andy because he knows Andy's going to grow up. He can go into a museum and be loved by kids forever. And he could be with Jesse and Bullseye and the Prospector, and he could be in this museum, and he's like, I don't want to go back to Andy's. I want to be loved by kids forever and stuff. But then, of course, Buzz Lightyear being a good friend that he is, he convinces Woody to come back with him and everything. And Toy Story 3, again, he's the only one that flat out believes in Andy at first, because everyone believes, oh, Andy's getting rid of us. They're throwing you. He was putting you in the attic. But, like, Woody just wants to do what it takes to get his friends back home to Andy, because Andy is their true owner. And he wants to go to college with Andy, but then, of course, he has to let Andy go. And that ending just rips your freaking heart out. Him saying so long, partner, and stuff, it's a beautiful ending to Woody's story. Yes, Toy Story 4 is coming out, and it's going to ruin that beautiful ending, but still, it's a beautiful bow tie ending for Woody's story. Woody's story is just so beautiful. And there's also a theory going around why Andy loves Woody the most. Is because people theorize that Andy's dad's not around, and they feel like Andy's dad probably gave Woody to Andy. Maybe that's why Andy has a connection with Woody. And because Woody's a very old toy from the show in the 1950s, like, how could Andy get this toy? This toy's a rare toy. So someone must have gave it to him. Maybe his dad gave it to him, and his dad's not around. Maybe he has a connection with Woody. There's a theory like that going around. I think that's very interesting. But yeah, I love Woody, and I love that Tom Hanks did his voice and just everything about Woody. His arc, his character, his whole story throughout these 3 films is perfect. That's why he's my favorite. And yes, they might ruin him in Toy Story 4, but I digress. Woody for the number 1. So yeah, that was our top 10 favorite Pixar characters. We had a lot of similarities, and thank you, Cody, for showing a true heart on this video, because I don't have a heart, so it's glad someone does. Cody, tell everyone tell my audiences, all my subscribers, where they can find you.
You can find me, the person with the heart. You can find Cody, myself. You can find me on Ryan O'Toole's channel doing some editing for him, as well as some Rotten or Fresh stuff. Of course, I'm the co-commissioner on there. Jay's been a part of the show. It's a great show, and he's made this show into, you know, 1%, all that fun stuff. So definitely come check out Rotten or Fresh, guys. If you want to find me on Twitter, I'm Cody_O'Toole. Go check me out there. I'll talk some Pixar with you. I'll talk about anything except Star Wars, because I don't know anything.
Yeah. Yes, check me out on Rotten or Fresh. I am a runner-up 3 times in a row. That's fun. But anyways, I'll go for 4th time to be runner-up. Just don't put me against Zach Pope. Oh yeah, so yeah, that was our top 10 list. So yeah, in the comment section below, please tell me, what are your guys' top 10 favorite Pixar characters? Do you disagree with us? Our list is garbage. Prove us wrong. Give us your thoughts and opinions. Comment below. Let me know. And as always, for this video, please like, subscribe to this channel, and join the dark side.
Bye, Elmo.